it's Chris Coney. Just wanted to send out a little message about the Speaker Factor competition that I competed in last night. This was a competition held by each of the different regions of the Professional Speakers Association. And Speaker Factor is specifically for new members of the PSA. And as a new member of the PSA, I entered it. So I've entered it for the Northwest region of the PSA, because that's the one I was invited to. But all the regions of the PSA have their own little regional Speaker Factor competitions. The purpose of them is to find one winner to go and represent that region in the national final. And the national final is held at the annual PSA conference. This year that's in London, and it's in October. So I thought, great, get through to the final, have the opportunity to present to a whole, room full, hundreds of other professional speakers. As you can imagine, that's the hardest audience ever. Speaking to your peers, people who know all the tricks and people know all what they're looking for and what constitutes a good speech and a bad speech and all that kind of stuff. So they are the hardest, the most critical audience. So anyway, last night in Manchester, I went down there after great preparation. We all had to prepare a 5-minute speech. 5 minutes is quite hard, because you can't say a lot in 5 minutes unless you talk really, really fast, and then people don't have time to absorb it. So I decided to do a speech about what it means to be a professional speaker. Because your duty as a speaker is to make sure that you are facilitating the goal of the meeting organizer. So the purpose of the PSA is to help people speak more and speak better. So I thought it'd be a good idea to write a speech about why we should be proud to be speakers, what it means to be, and why it's a meaningful sort of career choice. The way the voting system worked was that the two meeting leaders, Chris and Ailey, they had a predefined scoring system which they were going to grade everybody on. And the purpose of that scoring system was to give everyone a number based on how well they did in all the areas of speech, structure, and use of voice, use of body language, content, etc. And then they would cut out 3 out of the 6 contestants. And then the final 3 would get voted on by the meeting audience, all the attendees of the meeting. And that would ultimately determine the winner. What happened was that everyone did their speeches, 5 minutes. They were all very, very good indeed. Quite surprising, really, that they were so good, considering they're all supposedly new members of PSA. But then I realised that just because they're new members of the Professional Speakers Association doesn't necessarily mean they're new speakers or that they're inexperienced. It just means that they're new members of the PSA itself, which thereby qualifies them to go into the Speaker Factor competition, which is fine. So they're all very, very high quality indeed. And once the scoring had been done, we were only able to cut out 2 of the 6 because there was an equal score between 2 of the finalists. So that meant that there were 4 that went through to be chosen or voted on by the meeting audience. And then once that vote had been cast, there was another tie. So myself and Helen Vary were the 2 highest voted out of the audience, but we got an equal score. So then what they did was they took the other 4 contestants and they had them vote on which one of us should be the overall winner and should go and represent the Northwest region in the final. And with a vote of 3-1, Helen won it. Bless her. She did a speech. She did a great speech about taking care of yourself. It was a speech about health essentially, but it was done in a very artful way. She started out and said, "Everyone, put up your hand who has a rough idea of what your bank balance is, how much money you've got coming in this month, and roughly what your expenses are this month." And of course, 99% of people raised their hand. I said, okay, keep your hand up. Put your other hand up if you've got a good idea of, and then she reeled off these vital statistics about health, things like your blood pressure readings, your cardiovascular performance, and all sorts of jargonistic medical terms. And only 2 people out of the whole room, excluding myself, put their hand up. So I don't have a clue what my blood pressure is or my cardiovascular performance, but I do know my financial position. So she said, isn't that interesting that we all have sort of an obsessive idea about where our money's coming from and where it's going, but when it comes to the one thing, the foundation of our lives, which is health, kind of take that for granted, really. Just always assume it's going to be there. And if it isn't there, everything else kind of pales into insignificance. We can't really do anything without our health, yet it's the most neglected area of life, which was quite a powerful way of demonstrating it. She then went on and held up these great big shorts. They were, from someone who was 30 stone. And she told the story of how this person couldn't get out of bed, couldn't tie their shoelaces, who had no self-esteem, and who described their life as suicide by installments. I thought that was brilliant. That was a brilliant phrase. He used to stop breathing in their sleep, etc. And she built it up, and then revealed that these shorts used to belong to me. And that was the gasping moment for everybody, because Helen's like nowhere near that now, absolutely not. And she's very lively, very positive and optimistic, and just a great presence. And she kind of ended it on a question, like, she realised one day that her life was out of kilter, and she just wanted to ask, is yours? And I thought that was powerful, very, very powerful. So a very deserved winner, very deserved winner indeed. I was quite proud of myself, even, that the biggest goal about working on yourself, I guess, was proven to me again last night. When Chris, the meeting leader, was about to announce which one of us had won and got through to the final, in my head I was repeating my own name in his voice, kind of trying to think about what was about to happen in anticipation. But then when he said the winner is Helen Vary, inside I had absolutely no ill feeling whatsoever. I was actually proud, I was pleased, and this is what they call, like, when you're genuinely happy for the success of someone else. And it was a good little experience, and I felt pride at that I've managed to develop myself to that point. So yes, I'm going through to the final, not for the Northwest region anyway, but she was a very, very deserved winner. So then where did I turn my attention? Well, the eternal optimist. So what do? I shall be in the final, there's no doubt about that. And I told people that. I said, you'll see me in the final. And how is that possible? Well, I shall just go and represent a different region of the PSA. So all I have to do is enter Speaker Factor for another chapter of the PSA. So I may end up in London speaking and representing the Northwest region, the Northeast region, or the East region, or wherever. I shall find out another Speaker Factor competition that's yet to be held, and I shall compete in that, I shall win that, and I will be up against all of the other regional winners, including Helen Vary, in the final in October in London. So that is now where my attention turns. I shall probably upgrade my speech a little bit based on feedback that I got, just to ensure that I have a higher chance of success this time around. But other than that, no difference at all. I shall just soldier on. So that's pretty much all for now. Hope you've enjoyed it. Until next time, take care.